Namaskar. Welcome to my YouTube channel Dr. Hirlekar's Homeopathy. Myself Dr. Shriram Hirlekar. I am a homeopathic consultant practicing since 22 years in Vengurla. I have completed my homeopathic degree education from the then Vengurla Homeopathic Medical College, and 15 years back, I have completed postgraduate diploma in psychological counseling. Recently, I have completed a diploma in child psychology. I am working as mental health coach since last 10 years. Now, I have brought videos for you to simplify the concepts in psychology. So guys, please like these videos if you really feel it useful, and share with your friends also. Now we are going to learn about different schools of psychology. There are two old schools which are structuralism and functionalism. And now we have cognitive psychology, humanistic psychology, psychoanalysis, behaviorism, gestalt psychology, etc. How the study of psychology was evolved. Accordingly, these different schools of thoughts have formed. So we have these earlier schools and then the latest schools. And most advanced is the biological psychology. It's a new approach. We will see these schools one by one. First, the structuralism. It is widely regarded as the first school of thought in psychology. This outlook focused on breaking down mental processes into the most basic components. Major thinkers associated with structuralism include William Wundt and Edward Titchener. The focus of structuralism was on reducing mental processes down into their most basic elements. The structuralists used techniques such as introspection to analyze the inner processes of human mind. William Wundt was a physiologist and philosopher who founded the first experimental psychology laboratory in 1879, called as Leipzig Lab. He argued that the mind must be studied objectively and scientifically. He was in search for the basic unit of thought. This school of thought contributed to the education. Initially, structuralism emphasized the systematic observation of activities of the learner under controlled learning conditions. It is an experimental method for studying human behavior. So there is experimental introspection. It initiated the spirit of science and experimentation in the field of education. Then another school evolved called as functionalism. It formed as a reaction to the theories of structuralist school of thought and was heavily influenced by the work of William James. It functioned on the mind's functions and adaptations. Unlike some of the other well-known schools of thought in psychology, functionalism is not associated with a single dominant theorist. Instead, there are some different functionalists who were thinkers also, which were associated with this outlook, including John Dewey, James Roland Angel, etc. Functionalism school of thought was emerged as a reaction to structuralism. The founder was William James, and he was also known as founder of American psychology. Functionalism emphasized the function rather than the structure of human consciousness. Goals of functionalism. Major premise was the mental processes help or cause human beings to adapt to their everyday environment. Primary interest in this approach was to study the function of mental processes. Functionalism conceived of a fundamental set of values and procedures, emphasizing adaptive acts and empirically demonstrated functional relationships, has remained a strong influence in psychology, and even today it represents much of the mainstream of American psychology. Contributions. Functionalism revolutionized the curriculum by replacing theoretical overloaded curriculum with practical approaches. Study of various problems of the individual and their solutions is emphasized by functionalism. Functionalism gave utmost importance to learning by doing and developing activities oriented method like project methods for teaching and learning. So these activity oriented methods are very important to study psychology. Functionalism gave birth to utilitarian theory of education. Only those subjects should be included in the curriculum which have practical utility and usefulness in the society. So if we have to compare this structuralism and functionalism, we can say structuralism focuses on the structure of mind, while functionalism focuses on the function of mind. Structuralism focused basic research in labs, while functionalism focused on its practical application. Primary method of study for structuralism was introspection. And Edward Techner was the person who introduced this structuralism, while functionalism was introduced by William James. Another school is psychoanalytic theory. Psychoanalysis is a psychological theory developed by Sigmund Freud. It focuses on exploring the unconscious to understand and treat mental disorders. The emphasize concepts such as the unconscious, dream interpretation, and significance of childhood in psychological development of human being. Through therapeutic dialogue, psychoanalysis aims to unravel the underlying conflicts and thought patterns, promoting self-awareness and emotional change. While it was influenced contemporary psychology, its methods and approaches have been the subject of debate and evolution over the time. What is psychoanalysis exactly? It's a method of explaining and treating mental and emotional problems by having the patient talk about dreams, feelings, and memories. A method of studying the mind and treating mental and emotional disorders based on revealing and investigating the role of unconscious mind. So Sigmund Freud has given the concept of id, ego, and superego that we will learn later. This theory, Sigmund Freud discovered the unconscious motivation, which plays an important role in teaching learning process. Psychoanalysis points out the importance of early childhood experience in the process of learning. So learning is influenced by incidences that occur with that child, and it will either promote or will interfere in the learning. It stressed importance the feelings and emotions in the process of education. Teachers and parents should give children ample opportunity to express their self. It throws light on the causes of maladjustment in children. So for understanding child psychology, this method is very useful. Another school is behaviorism. Behaviorism is a psychological theory that focuses on observable and measurable behavior as the basis for understanding human and animal behavior. Behaviorism theory emerged in the early 20th century and focuses on observable and measurable behavior. It holds that behavior is shaped by environmental factors like rewards and punishments rather than cognitive processes. Behaviorists believe that by understanding and manipulating these environmental factors, they can change or modify behavior in predictable ways. For example, a parent rewards a child with candy for completing their homework as a means of incentivizing and reinforcing the behavior. So incentives or rewards will cause that child to repeat the behavior again. This is also helpful in animal training. Behaviorism was founded by John Watson. He defined psychology as the study of observable behavior. Watson wanted psychology to be seen as another sciences. Thought studying consciousness was not scientific because he considered it is unobservable. So he said psychology must only include behaviors because they are measurable and observable. There are different behavioral therapy techniques available nowadays which are helpful to shape the behavior, like systematic desensitization, flooding, therapeutic graded exposure, participant modeling, assertiveness training, social skill training, aversion therapy, shaping, Premack principle, extinction, token economy, contingency contracting, overt sensitization, covert sensitization, and timeout technique. We are using different techniques from this behavior therapy in our day-to-day life. Behaviorism suggests that all behavior can be explained by environmental causes rather than by inner forces. Behaviorism is focused on observable behavior. Theory of learning, including classical conditioning and operant conditioning, were the focus of a great deal of research. The behavioral school of psychology had a significant influence on the course of psychology, and many other ideas and techniques that emerged from this school of thought are still widely used even today. Behaviorism gave new ideas and innovations in the field of education. It individualized self-instructional programs involving teaching machines and computer-assisted instruction. Behaviorism replaced punishments and unpleasant experiences by rewards and reinforcement in teaching learning programs. Techniques of shaping behavior and behavior modification programs advocated by behaviorists has contributed a lot in dealing with backward and maladjusted children in the classroom. Another school of thought was Gestalt School of Psychology. The system of Gestalt psychology was born in Germany, and it was forwarded by Max Wertheimer. Gestalt psychologists emphasize the importance of the role of configuration or organization in the perceptual field and highlight the role of insight and understanding in learning. The fundamental tenets of this school are like this. The first principle of Gestalt psychology is that it is the whole which determines the behavior of its parts. An individual perceives the thing as a whole, not as mere collections of its constituents or elements separately. A learning situation is more than the elements of which its part is composed. These are some Gestalt principles: emergence, multistability, reification, invariance, closure, similarity, proximity, continuity, etc. Gestalt school emphasizes the importance of presenting the subject matter as a whole in the class so as to make learning more meaningful. Gestalt principles have found its application in the construction of curriculum, organization of syllabus, scheme of studies, work plan, etc. Holistic method of teaching, holistic evaluation, insight learning, comprehensive education, etc. draw here the inspiration for Gestalt. Gestalt school emphasizes the importance of motivation and purpose in any learning. This has resulted in central role of motivation in any scheme of learning. So Gestalt school has influenced today's learning processes. Another school is humanistic psychology. It has 5 principles or 5 parts, you can say. Study of psychology that focuses on the study of whole person. Just like Gestalt school, whole is greater than its part. Second, look at behavior not only through the eyes of observer but through the eyes of the person. That means the object. Study the meanings, understandings, and experiences involved in growing, teaching, and learning. Study how people are influenced by their self-perceptions and personal meanings attached to their experiences. This school focuses on people's responses to internal needs in shaping behavior. Humanistic psychology developed as a response to psychoanalysis and behaviorism. Humanistic psychology instead focused on individuals' free will, personal growth, and concept of self-actualization. While early schools of thought were primarily centered on abnormal human behavior, humanistic psychology is differed here considerably in its emphasis on helping people to achieve and fulfill their potential. Major humanist thinkers are Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Humanistic psychology remains quite popular today and has a significant influence on other areas of psychology, including positive psychology. This particular branch of psychology is centered on helping people living happier, more fulfilling lives. Another school is cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology is the school of thought which is interested in how people mentally represent and process information. It includes in topics such as memory, concept formation, attention, reasoning, problem solving, judgment, and language. Historically, psychology has always been a cognitively oriented except for the brief period between 1930 to 1950s. This was a time when behaviorism was highly influential and interest in cognitive topics were low. Cognitive psychology is the school of psychology that studies mental processes, including how people think, perceive, remember, and learn. This cognitive psychology began to emerge during the 1950s, partly as a response to behaviorism. Critics of behaviorism noted that it failed to account for how internal processes impacted behavior. This period is sometimes referred to as cognitive revolution. as a wealth of research on topics such as information processing, language, memory, and perception that began to emerge. So this cognitive psychology deals with understanding the cognition. The term cognition refers to all processes by which sensory input is transformed, reduced, elaborated, recovered, and used. Giving such a sweeping definition, it is apparent that cognition is involved in everything a human being might possibly do. There are some famous concepts about cognitive psychology, and those concepts are cognitive schema, bystander effect, the priming effect, framing bias, the forgetting curve, the serial position effect, locus of control, and semantic memory network. There is one terminology nowadays very well known, is cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. It was also heavily influenced by this psychological perspective. CBT is an approach to treatment that focuses on how automatic negative thought patterns influence our behavior and psychological problems. This period is sometimes referred to as the cognitive revolution, as a wealth of research on information processing, language, memory, and perception began to emerge. Some examples of this theory are stages of cognitive development, socio-cultural theory, and informational processing theory. This informational processing theory suggests that the mind functions much like a computer to process and interpret information about the world. And nowadays, this is the latest branch or school of psychology. It is also called as biological psychology or biopsychology. It is a behavioral neuroscience. It is a school of thought that focuses on how biological factors influence mental processes and human behavior. Topics of interest in this school of thought include genetics, brain structure, hormones, and neurotransmitters. This school of thought emphasizes the study of the biological causes of mental health conditions. For example, psychologists working in this area might focus on biological and genetic factors that play a role in causing mental disorders like schizophrenia, depression, and bipolar disorder, etc. There are many different psychological conditions which can be understood with this biological concept of psychology. Treatments rooted in this approach may focus on medications that help to improve neurotransmitter balances to address the brain abnormalities. Nowadays, whatever medicines are given in the psychiatry are mostly based on this school of psychology. So if we have to summarize all this school, structuralism is concerned itself with exploring the structure of mind through introspection. Functionalism defines the mental state by their function or what they do. Psychoanalytic school emphasizes the importance of unconscious mind in understanding perception and behavior. Behaviorism emphasized the importance of experience and environment to understand behavior. This school believed behavior was learned through classical or operant conditioning. Gestalt psychology emphasized the configuration of parts to reveal an independent and meaningful whole. Humanistic psychology its emphasis on helping people to achieve and fulfill their potential. Cognitive psychology studies mental processes, including how people think, perceive, remember, and learn. Biological psychology offers an important insights into how genetics, biology, and physiology impact the human mind and behavior. Hello guys. So, how was this video for you? Please comment and tell us. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for similar videos in future. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in comments. We will definitely answer each and every question asked by you. If you have any need of homeopathic treatment, we offer classical homeopathic treatment and counseling for different mental health problems. Please feel free to WhatsApp us or visit our website. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. Thank you very much.